This week, we are catching up with Utah's new Director of Outdoor Recreation, Pitt Grewe, as we join him for a Snowcat adventure and to learn about his new role.
Then we head to Green River for some very cold but scenic hiking as we take in some of the little-known points of interest out of town.
Finally, we learn the history about a man who braved some of the world's harshest elements to advance our scientific knowledge. It's all headed your way right now. At Your Leisure is next. The new year is off to a great start, and we start the season by exploring a mythical creature that everybody's heard about for a long time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth.
And I'm Maria Rossi Booth.
And the mythical creature is not this guy, although he is kind of a legend, but it is actually a new division of state government. It's the Division of Outdoor Recreation in DNR. Passed last year by the legislature, this new division kind of collects all of the pieces of outdoor recreation and starts seriously focusing on how to develop the infrastructure for it. Pitt Grewe is the guy that's been picked to lead the division, and he comes from outdoor recreation on the promotion side, Governor's Office of Outdoor Recreation. Pitt, thanks.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and thanks for talking about the division. It's great because the state of Utah has always been forward-thinking in outdoor recreation. They were the first ones to create an Office of Outdoor Recreation, which now there's 18 around the country that have followed suit. And now we're taking it to the next level of creating this whole new division that's really going to focus on the future of outdoor recreation in the state of Utah. It's going to focus on the planning, the long-term sustainability, the economic benefits of it, and making sure that everybody has access to do the things they love and the reason why they're here in Utah.
This is so much the motto of what our show has been through the years.
Yeah.
Is just access for everybody to get outdoors. And
Right, and you're living it. You do it with your family. It's just you're just the right guy for the job.
I mean, it's the reason why we all live in Utah, or we all choose to live in Utah. It's because we have great access to whatever activities we want to do outside.
Well, we're going to try and find out a little bit more about it. And you and your history and what the plans are for the division. But right now, we got snowcats, we got a ski resort, we've got the woods. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, we're talking like a tram on land. Woo! Thanks, this is awesome.
A land tram.
A land tram.
Yeah.
Hey, you've never driven one of these before?
I've driven it a few times.
No, I'm saying, no, this was like is this like a new series?
Oh yeah, this is a newer one that, it's a little bit new to me, but snowcats are all the same.
Okay, so what I'm saying is you did a beautiful job, and when you did that thing, he did a complete 360 and Chad fell off the bench and landed on the floor. It was awesome.
So just to try and
so funny.
duplicate things for everybody, this is pretty much when we pulled up what I was like. And it was so
Here, land in the snow.
That was what it was like.
It was a beautiful thing. We should have had the GoPro on.
Well, Pitt, I gotta tell you, you are an authentic. She threw me down in the snow. Now I can't get up. Thanks a lot, Rhea.
It's just like hanging out with your kids.
Yeah, this is great. You just push them in the snow and then get back up.
Obviously, you're in your element up here, Pitt.
Yeah, this is not only just the mountains in Utah in general is a special place for me, but specifically here right next to Beaver Mountain, I spent every weekend of the winter growing up up here at the resort, skiing, exploring the area around it, sledding, whatever we could do to stay entertained all day.
So what you're saying is you Grewe up here.
Basically, yeah. It's hard to be a Grewe and not be attached to the snow here in Utah.
What an awesome family. Really, we met your dad. I mean, this is just a really cool family. I can see you're just like carrying on the tradition with your own fam.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I said, it's hard to be a Grewe and not love the snow.
You got it.
There you go.
Right now it's time for us to go off to our Where To adventure. There's so many places to explore in Utah. Let's find out about another one.
Green River, Utah, a town that holds an incredible variety of history. One can have experiences here that transcend millions of years with incredibly beautiful scenery from today. Whether you're traveling by wheel, by foot, or by paws, everyone will find something of interest and even memories from recent history.
Green River's got an old missile base. There's still a lot of the historical buildings and stuff there. We've got one of the old test missiles still in the city park in the center of town for people to check out.
During a time of global tension from 1964 to 1975, there were 141 test launches of the Athena missile near Green River. Another site that contributed to national security during the Cold War is the impressive Temple Mountain. It's the highest point along the San Rafael Reef, and it saw a uranium mining boom as the Cold War escalated. And going back even earlier, around 1900, the ore from this mountain was sent to France for Marie Curie's studies in radioactivity.
We've enjoyed some hikes today around the Temple Mountain campground. We got to see some caves, we got to walk through some canyons. There's a couple hikes that are short drive close to each other, so it's quite nice to experience the variety of the rocks and the mountains.
A convenient afternoon adventure from Green River can be made to Crystal Geyser.
Crystal Geyser is another attraction there close to Green River that's accessible by any type of vehicle.
It's a rare, cold water, carbon dioxide-driven geyser.
It's been around and people have wanted to come visit it for years. Started from a drilling rig, hit a mineral pocket along the river, and it's developed into this geyser. It goes off usually a couple times a day.
Now, it is a bit unpredictable. Eruptions range from every 8 to 27 hours, and that makes it difficult to time a visit just right. But the bright mineral deposits do make some otherworldly sights even if the water isn't flowing.
We've got the River History Museum. That's neat to, it kind of gives a history of how Green River got to be where it is.
Just a 40-minute drive southeast out of Green River, we can travel back much further in time and witness ancient memories molded into the rock at Mill Canyon Dinosaur Trail.
One of my favorite parts of hiking around Green River this trip was seeing all the dinosaur tracks as well as the fossils. It was set up really nicely where there were informative boards to be able to read where the fossils came from, what type of dinosaur, and it was really great. All of these hikes are dog friendly if you keep your dog on a leash.
So if you've always dreamed of time travel, this area of eastern Utah should set your imagination free. For this week's Where To, I'm Terry Wood.
Hey, welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. I'm Scout Huntsman with my son-in-law, Brandon, and we're at my Tunex shop here in South Jordan. This is what's new this week. His 20 Ram 3500. You remember this truck. We brought this up with that nice lift kit. We also installed these beautiful wheels and tires. Well, it's a beautiful truck. He's really happy with it, but a little tricky to get into.
The wife has issues.
So that's what we're going to work on today. We have a pair of AMP power retractable steps that we're going to install. I think this is going to be a great product. We're going to review it today. We're going to get started. He's going to give me a hand today. Let's get in and get going with it. All right, guys, step number one. We're going to install this reinforcement plate into the back side of the body. This will give it the strength to mount the step hinge too. I've already marked on the body where I'm going to drill it, and we'll rivet this plate to the inside. Once that's in, I can put the 2 rivet nuts that will go in to this, and then we'll bolt those together and clamp those down. The reinforcements are ready. We're going to start hanging the linkages. Brandon is going to start the 2 that go off of the front pinch weld, and we'll torque this assembly in place. We're going to attach the step to the linkages. Brandon's giving me a hand. So I'll line this side first, at least with the first bolt. And I think I'm square there. Okay, all these are equally torqued. And now I just want to test that I have a nice free range of movement with the step. Nice and smooth, very good, no binds. It lines right up with the body line. No effort on any kind to get it to go either direction. That way we know the motor will operate as smoothly. So my next step is to get the control module mounted under the hood. Okay guys, so we've got all the wiring looms ran from under the hood. We have all the connections made. We just installed the motor on the driver's side assembly that's going to drop it, the linkage. And now last thing is going to be connect the motor to it. All right guys, project complete. We've got all the wiring taken care of with this. We've got the adjustments made. I think they turned out pretty good. How cool are these? Watch this. Deploy, retract. Now that's pretty cool. You can see how easy my daughter got in this truck lifted up. She didn't like it before, neither did Brandon. One thing I could take away from this are the rivet nuts. I wasn't really impressed with those. We had to give a little tack weld on each one to get them to tighten correctly. Other than that, I like the product. They're working great. You want some of these? Come see us here at 2NEXT, South Jordan or West Valley. We sell and install them. They're great. I'm Scout Huntsman. More at your leisure in a moment.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are exploring Logan Canyon by cat. What a fun way to do. And I'm not talking about, purr, meow, meow cats. We're talking about piston bullies. This is quite a brand, this piston bully.
Yeah, they're a German company, yeah. And distribution here in the United States and the Western region is out of Logan.
And that just comes right down to like the Grewe tradition, huh?
Yeah, it's been fun to grow up around machines like this my whole life, yeah.
So I want to learn a little bit more about the division and your ambitions for it and what the horizon's like. But I got to ask you, while Rhea's not here, I think she wants to drive this. Do you think she can?
We can get Rhea behind the wheel, for sure.
All right, well, let's find a little bit more about the division.
Growing up in Cache Valley, I was lucky enough to be exposed to a lot. Mountain biking, river running, fly fishing, backcountry skiing. We used to use snowmobiles to access a lot of the great backcountry skiing up Logan Canyon. I think you find that in a lot of communities around the state of Utah. And that's how we need to approach this is, people love multi-use, and that's the purpose of recreation. Whatever it is, you have access to it here in Utah, and so why not take advantage of it? Like I say, living in Utah, you have access to all of these different things, and they've become passions of mine and now things that I'm trying to pass on to my kids. What we want to do with the Division of Recreation is we want people to understand what it means to be good stewards of our public lands and the access to our public lands that we have. And that comes with exploring new areas, looking at maps, getting educated on it. What are the best practices in those areas? Whether you're going to the desert or the mountains, all of that comes with different skills and different knowledge base. The new division, we want to be able to be a resource for people that are doing that. And we can maintain the user experience and the recreational experience for everybody here in Utah for generations to come. It's about having the best experience.
Oh,
Nice work, Rhea.
Thank God Pitt killed it. I was going to have the thing to drive. You guys all would have been dead. Well, seriously, I'm so excited to see like where this division is going to take us right now, and the fact that you're at the helm, I think Utah's in good hands.
Well, thanks. You're not a bad operator yourself. So.
Yeah, I know. My husband tells me that a lot. But no, this is just a blast. Beautiful up here at Beaver Mountain. I've really not spent that much time up here. This is gorgeous up here. Yeah, this is where it's at, Cache Valley.
Yeah, it's
right?
a great place to be, for sure.
Nice place to grow up, for sure. All right, well, don't go away, because now we're heading off to our Along the Way.
I'm Reese Stein, at your leisure along the way, following the exploits of a man who spent not just one, but 3 seasons battling the snow, ice, and incredible cold of Antarctica, all to further the scientific knowledge of how our world works.
Incredible. I had really no idea what he was doing in the Antarctic until I had a chance to view the footage.
AYL photographer Chris Reed, the oldest of David Reed's 7 children, found 25 reels of Super 8 movie stock thought lost for 20 years and painstakingly created a video biography of his father's time on the ice with the United States Geological Survey.
I volunteered to work in the Antarctic for 3 seasons from 1964 to 1978. I found my times there to be the most interesting, stimulating periods of my 41-year career working for the USGS.
Antarctica was first sighted by Russians in 1820, but it wasn't until 1911 that Norwegian Raoul Amundsen reached the South Pole, just 33 days ahead of British naval officer Robert Falcon Scott, whose 4-man polar party all died during their return.
This cross was erected at the top of Observation Hill. It is a memorial to the perished members of Scott's party, which reads, "To strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield," and faces the ice shelf where they died.
53 years later, David Reed stood face to face with Sir Charles Wright, a survivor of Scott's party and member of the search team that found Scott's body. Reed spent his days at the bottom of the world, staring through the lens of a T3 theodolite, mapping and taking precise measurements off the sun. He hopscotched around the glaciers of Ross Island via helicopter in tricky terrain and changeable weather. He was tracking the movements of glaciers.
It's a system where they wanted to evaluate the glacier flows, the rates, and where the glaciers were flowing.
On one trip, a pilot, also named Reed, landed his helicopter on an 11,000-foot mountaintop and was able to get phone connections with David Reed's wife and learned he was soon to be a father of twins. At McMurdo Station, Reed lived in the same type of tents used by the Scott expedition.
I don't know if you can print this part. He said that they would make their latrines out of igloos. And he said that he nearly froze in that position. He says, I can just imagine somebody finding me 1,000 years from now.
On warm, sunny days, when the temperature climbed to minus 22 degrees, Reed visited the actual South Pole, where he worked with Army engineers developing the very first GPS. The snow-covered geodesic dome at the South Pole brought out the inner child in Reed and other scientists. On Christmas Day 2007, Marianne and I made Antarctica our 7th continent. We didn't get quite as far as the South Pole, but wandering among thousands of nesting penguins stands as one of the highlights of all our travels.
You've never been to Antarctica?
Not a chance.
Did you want to go?
I kind of did.
David Reed was offered a 4th tour to Antarctica. He shivered and declined.
And I just can't imagine that kind of cold. He said that he said he'd be out on the ice and it was 20, 30 below. He says that the polar station's like 50 below, and that kind of cold is just unfathomable.
For his service, David Reed is forever memorialized with a rocky outcrop called Nanitooks that now bears his name.
I believe I was one of the last member to be so honored.
Now in his 90s, David Reed lives a comfortable and warm life in Southern California. Son Scott lives in Salem, Utah. Reistein along the way in Antarctica.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure up Logan Canyon at Beaver Mountain Resort. We've spent the day so far with Pitt Grewe learning about the new division of outdoor recreation.
Yeah.
And we've lost Pitt.
I think he went nature called.
No, I don't think so. I think that nature called him.
Yeah, there he is. Swooshing down the mountain.
Anyway, we'll go get him off the runs here in a minute. In the meantime, why don't you take a look at next week's show?
Next week, Scott and Tanya Huntsman are guiding us through the Red Rocks as we visit the 2022 Winter 4x4 Jamboree in Hurricane, Utah.
Then we're joining the folks from Dew, Utah for their 3rd annual Ice Fishing Derby at Steinecker Reservoir in Vernal, Utah. Now, let's take a look at our contest winner.
This week's contest winner was submitted to us on Facebook by Brian Terry, and it looks like he's the lucky winner of a $400 gift certificate to TuneX.
TuneX offers the best repairs and upgrades for your rig. Visit tunex.com for more information.
And be sure to call us on Monday at 801-947-8888 to claim your prize.
I tell you, we have had a great time today getting to know Pitt and the division and getting a personalized tour of Logan Canyon, including Beaver Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. It's been a great day in the mountains.
It has, and you know what? We owe you, so we're going to buy the chocolate.
Perfect.
And I'm thinking, he's thinking, is this what I need to do is spend more time with these guys? I want to get home. Poor guy. No, it was a blast. We had so much fun. Thank you.
We did. And once again, we've proven there's adventure on every bend.
You just got to get out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure. Come on, Pitt, just hang out with us a minute more. I'll buy the chocolate.
1 more minute.